What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. We're here for a time, but not a long time. So, like the video's intro plays, we got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
I was listening to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense.
It makes sense.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
Make it make sense. You know what was up.
I'll be okay.
Big Maps.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things in your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things in your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Do polygamy with me. I don't even like that.
What's polygamy?
He wants 2 other women plus me.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I don't.
That is funny.
Got it. When he did this face, he could have told that girl how to pronounce it. I told y'all Karamo's about to be the next Maury. Wait for it. Karamo is going to be the next. Okay, we got a few topics. I want to start with Phaedra and Dr. Heavenly real quick. So Dr. Heavenly is running for Georgia State rep, and so is Creonta. Now, y'all know I really see it for Dr. Heavenly. I done told y'all what you see is not necessarily what you get, the character that she plays on television. I was invited to her, I don't know what you would call it, like when she's letting the public know that she's going to be running. But of course, you guys know I'm still here in New York, so I couldn't have gone. But shout out to her. Based on some of the people we see in office, I feel like anybody who feels like they could do better should go ahead and run. So shout out to Dr. Heavenly. For Creonta to run, the only thing that I need to know is...
Yes, ma'am.
So what's next? Is there a career you haven't tried?
You know what? My favorite thing is politics. Oh.
Now, here's the thing. She was married to a felon. That felon told us that his ill-gotten gains were paying the mortgage at her home that she had prior to her new mansion. I want to see the records. Right. She's going to fit right in. I definitely want to see the records. Apollo says specifically that he was forced to pay the mortgage. And we all know he was tricking off $10,000 a night at the strip club. And these were all ill-gotten gains that he went to prison for, I believe, like 6 or 7 years for. I want to see the receipts. Go ahead and let us know that you didn't do anything wrong. It was all Apollo. He wasn't paying the rent. And then I'll be okay with it.
Receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? Because I got receipts.
Right. Angela Stanton said the same stuff too. Okay, but let's get into this. Let's start off with Supahead. So her name is no longer Supahead. We all know this. I think it's like Elizabeth Overstreet is now her stage name. I have questions. If you've been following me, you know in my studio is her original book, Confessions of a Video Vixen. I know it from cover to cover. That's why when I saw this interview, I thought it was extremely interesting because I've always believed the things that she said about Diddy. She was very forthcoming with who she slept with, and she gave details. I'm not accustomed to this version of her. I don't know the inflections in her voice. What is this Elizabethan accent that she has going? I don't know what's going on, but you guys take a listen.
I posed questions in that book that I think sent certain people down the direction that leads us to where we are now.
What does that even mean?
Just explain that a little more. What were the questions you think that you're talking about?
Well,
she's never at a loss for words.
Honestly, I'm just now getting context on a lot of the questions that I had then. After the trial gave me way more context. But just about, I think, his sexual proclivities and what we saw.
I love that they are giving us narration through this, his sexual proclivities.
And hanging out with him, the kind of clubs he took us to, even conversations he and I had. One in particular where I didn't understand it at the time. And honestly, Piers, I'm getting new understanding about this line of questioning. I wrote about this in Confessions where my boyfriend and I at the time had gone to his home for New Year's Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve kind of.
Exhibit was not her boyfriend. It was she was dating, but it was Exhibit.
Festivities. And he pulled me to the side and was just like, we're friends, right? We're friends. And I was like, yeah, we're friends. And like, we're good. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. And I couldn't figure out what he meant. And I wrote about this where I didn't know what he was talking about. And he just kind of went on to say, I have kids, I have a mom. And if any.
I don't know why she's not giving context. Like I said, I know this book from back to front. What she alleged is Exhibit took her to one of these big New Year parties in Miami. Diddy pulled Exhibit to the side and said, watch out for the girl you're with. She'll have her fingers in your booty and she'll tell everybody. Exhibit went back and told Corinne this. Corinne wrote about it in her book. That's not too hard. It's not too much to expound on. It's actually pretty cut and dry. Corinne was also not really sure why he would single her out. They had one sexual encounter that we'll get to in a minute.
Anything got out, it would really hurt them. And I honestly, at that point in stage, did not know or remember what he was talking about. And so we just kind of laughed it off. Like, what's going on with him? And things that he said to my boyfriend. Like,
somebody said, this is how she's always talked. No, she's always spoken very well. She's a very articulate woman. But this extra accent that she's putting on, it's like Oprah when she goes to London. She starts like picking up this somewhat British accent. Lindsay Lohan, when she was in Dubai, spoke as if she was from that country. Madonna, when she was trying to clean up her image and she wasn't licking butt, she had a British accent. Like, this is not the way Supahead used to speak.
Don't trust her. She might have her on video with, in precarious positions. And this is back before cell phone cameras. So I was just like, what video? I didn't understand any of it.
Now that is interesting. She's not even recognizing Diddy was the one with videos. And we're not talking about secret recordings. We're talking about the fact that it is a known thing that Diddy has video cameras all throughout his homes and actually outside and some in bushes. Diddy is the one. But if he's paranoid and allegedly, he might be on a little Tucci or something, he might be nervous about her because she likes to talk about her sexual exploits, but he might be mixing up who has the videos because that is allegedly Diddy.
Now after the trial and the things that have come out from the trial, this gives these conversations a lot more context. But at the time when Confessions came out, it did make us all wonder, what was he so afraid of? I didn't even know what I had seen or didn't see, or if there's something happened that I didn't remember from our time together, but he was very afraid.
Do you actually have any kind of sexual relationship with Diddy at all?
No, Diddy and I did not know. Well, not to my knowledge.
What? What do you mean not to your knowledge? I don't have the book right here, but I'm telling you, I know it like back to front. So we'll say allegedly. But allegedly in the book, she details a time that dude from Murder Inc., who she was sleeping with while he was married, I guess also along at the same time as Ashanti, they were high one day and he introduces her to Diddy. At the time, what I liked about Elizabeth, Corinne, Supahead, whatever you want to call her, was she was somebody who has agency over her own body. She didn't sleep with any more men then the rapper slept with women. In fact, they probably slept with more. But she had agency over her own body. She turned nothing and made it something. Technically, Supahead stripped so Drea could run. Basically, that's what it amounts to. There were video girls, but there was nobody willing to go all out, be basically naked, sleep with whomever, and then write about it. She walked so all of these rappers' girlfriends and influencers could run. I don't know how else to say it. It is what it is. And I like that about her. She had agency over her own body. She did what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it. Maybe she's a little crazy, but who isn't? But this version, this is not the truth. In the book, she specifically says that Murder Inc. CEO introduced her to Diddy. They were both high. Then Diddy sent for her. There was a car. She went to his mansion. He was very delicate with her, but they had a sexual, consensual experience, whatever you want to call it. And she had nothing bad to say about him. What do you mean now you don't recall?
Say, what do you mean by that?
Not to my knowledge. I don't. Honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
Well, you think
so not to my knowledge. I don't think anything right now. Just not to my knowledge, because honestly...
That's a very strange response, though, to not remember whether you did or not.
Right. Now, when a lot of the Diddy stuff came out, she had a few blurbs in press. And what she said was she acknowledged that maybe at a time she thought she had agency over her own body. She was actually being used and manipulated and just thought, I'm just having a good time with people. She almost made it seem like that interaction between Irv Gotti and Diddy was more like a pass off. But to say that what's in your book, you're not sure, I don't really know how to process that. You guys can put in the chat. I don't have the book in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that that's how the Diddy chapter went. He was very gentle with her. He sent for her. It was a car. Everything was really nice. There was nothing crazy about the sex. So what don't you remember now? I'm with Pierce. Like, I wish Pierce almost had like a fact checker to go through her book, because you put it in black and white. And that book, guarantee you, because there were so many high profile people, because no one had ever... There were no Brittany Renners around at the time, basically. Nobody had done what she had done as successfully at the time. So they knew lawsuits were going to come. They fact-checked these things. She wasn't allowed just to put anything in the book. So what do you mean? She's too smart for this. I don't understand.
Yeah, isn't it? It is. Yeah, it is. Because honestly, Pierce, before I went through my text, again, I hadn't read Confessions in 20 years. I wrote it. It was painful to write. So I never wanted to re-traumatize myself and go through those years again. And think about this.
You didn't just put it out and never read it. That book was everywhere. You did talk shows about it. You could have done a thesis paper on that. I'm more than sure there were times that you did book signings where you read chapters aloud. This is not something that's just been on your shelf that you did not pull out. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know that I can't make sense of the angle. And y'all know when I can't make something make sense, I just keep pulling at the thread.
Middle-aged woman at this point. I don't want to go back into my 20s and see what happened. But in gathering information for this interview here, reading that passage again for the first time in 20 years, I questioned a lot of things. Like, well, why was he so afraid?
I'm not assuming. This was in her book, and I took it as truth. I'm not assuming. In the book. You mean I'm assuming that she read it. I mean, we can go back to the talk shows. I remember a lot of the Superhead interviews from DJ Vlad, Tyra Banks, Oprah Winfrey, her interviews about dating that old washed up white guy. I can't remember his name. I remember so many things that she said, detailing later how Papa was Method Man. I would say I was actually a Superhead fan. Bill Maher, exactly.
And why did he try to, make my boyfriend feel as if I wasn't trustworthy? And
do you think he took advantage of you when you were under the influence of alcohol and drugs?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
But you fear that's the case now from everything you've read?
Honestly, yes. Given the context, now that I know, because again, I never knew any of these things about him before. So the things that I learned in the trial, I did not know. I never saw that side of him. I did not know. I never understood. And again, in 2005, when I published Confessions, it says I didn't understand why he was so fearful of me, because our time together was pleasant. And I was like, wait, what is he so afraid of? What does he not want me to tell? I didn't see anything at that point. At that point, I hadn't seen anything. At that point, we had, I thought, just a friendly, platonic night together. So I was confused then. And 20 years later, I'm confused now. So to my knowledge, I've never had sex with Sean Combs. We never had that kind of relationship.
But you can't be sure.
Given what we know now, I can't be sure. I posed questions in that book that I think sent certain people down the direction that leads us to where we are now.
This woman is a riddle wrapped in a mystery and an enigma. I don't even know. Buddy Brown, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Guys, we got over 2,000 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. Let's move into Nicki Minaj. Let me start here. It says, oops, Megan Thee Stallion and Roc Nation can't dismiss cameraman's lawsuit where he claims he was forced to watch Meg have sex in a moving car. Judge says it's reasonable to believe Megan allegedly did it in front of him because he's gay. Now, cameraman Emilio Garcia says the 2022 incident created a hostile work environment. Megan Thee Stallion and Roc Nation must keep a lawsuit from her cameraman who claims he was forced to watch Meg have sex in a moving car while on tour in Ibiza. It created a hostile work environment and that his hours and pay were cut after he complained, eventually getting him fired and blackballed in the industry. Megan and Roc Nation tried to get the case tossed, calling Garcia a con artist, but the judge said his discrimination and retaliation claims are solid enough to move forward. The judge agreed it's reasonable to believe Megan only did the alleged group sex in front of Garcia because of his sexuality and that he was punished for speaking up. While some of Garcia's claims, like extra wage demands and a California-based harassment claim, were dropped, the major parts of the lawsuit are still alive. Garcia's lawyer says more facts will be added in a revised filing. No comment yet from Meg's camp. I like Megan. I definitely like Megan Thee Stallion. But Megan Thee Stallion is another person who is very open about her sexual exploits. Could I see Megan having sex in front of this dude? Yes. He's not interested in them. Megan, I believe, is openly bisexual. Could I see her doing it? It's Ibiza. Could it involve chemsex? Sure, maybe. I don't know. Megan likes her tequila and acknowledges some of the mistakes she's made on it. Let's be clear, because there's a conversation going on now. It makes my head hurt, where we're talking about Cassie versus Clayton. If this boy who is gay and not interested in women was in a car and his boss decides to bust somebody down in front of him, at the very least, he has a sexual harassment claim. He wasn't touched, so it's not sexual assault, but at the very least, he has a sexual harassment claim. And the new fight that I'm seeing is Cassie's not a victim, but acknowledging that Clayton is a victim. Clayton being the escort that both Cassie and Jane used. Let me say this much. If Clayton's allegations are that he was sexually assaulted, okay. But his claim of being a victim comes from specifically him receiving an STD allegedly from Cassie. I have a few questions. Did you get you're an escort? How are you certain that this particular STD came from Cassie? That's a fair question. You're not in a relationship with them. Whatever Cassie has, Diddy has, like I don't understand. People are lauding this man as the true victim. What I don't want anybody to ever think is that a man can't be victimized, because a man can be victimized. I would want to know how someone who has sex with partners for money determines that this one partner gave them an STD. I just have questions. So to this dude, for people who are giving him a hard time, it absolutely is sexual. What did I say? It was sexual harassment for your boss to have sex in front of you. I don't think Cassie and Jane were his only clients. You're a sex worker. I don't. It's not like, what's that woman's name? Was it Quintasia? It's not like Quintasia, who was not a sex worker, but who claimed that Usher gave her an STD. So I just have questions. But to say he's not a victim, no, just like everybody, you need to give what he's saying a run through before you decide the man is not a victim. But also, like I am with everybody now, I question everything. I don't know. I believe she got a settlement. I believe she got a settlement. Now, if somebody knows something different, let me know. Miss Carmen says, remember, she was really young and had an abusive mother and was SA'd while underage. She used the industry to get away from an abusive childhood. You're talking about Corinne Steffens. Yes, all of that is true. She alleged abuse from her child's father. She was stripping at an early age. She had ran away from home. She said that she didn't even know how technically to slob on the knob, but her baby daddy would make her do that for hours until her nose would bleed, and that's how she perfected the whole Supahead image or whatever. I get all that. That has nothing, in my eyes, it has nothing to do with the fact that you put it in writing that you slept with the man, and now 20 some years later, you're saying you're not sure. It's in black and white. You said it. That's my only question. Why are you backtracking? Buddy says she can't remember because it was trash from the book. After the experience, he said, you're one of the best. I said the same to him when in actuality, he was average. Well, there you go, Buddy Brown. That's a direct quote from her book, talking specifically about her sexual encounter with Diddy. I don't know. I don't know where Elizabeth was Elizabeth Overstreet's head is at. I like Supahead, to be honest. I think she's funny. I think she doesn't give a damn. She makes for a great interview. I would love to interview her, but I just don't know. I don't know where her head is. Bad choice of words. I don't know where her mind is at now. But yeah, let's get to Nicki Minaj. So, Academics posted, the judges denied Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion's motion to dismiss the lawsuit in her home, where her homosexual cameraman claims the twerker forced him to watch her have a freak off car sex with a woman inside a moving car. Academics wrote this. The judge has denied Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion motion to dismiss a lawsuit where her homosexual cameraman claims the twerker forced him to watch her have a freak off car sex. Okay, this is a run on sentence, Academics. With the woman inside a moving car while on tour in Ibiza, Spain in 2022. Judge Wood says the cameraman, who is gay, plausibly pleads that the alleged sexual encounter in the SUV in Ibiza created a hostile work environment based on plaintiff's sexual orientation. Now, for those people who don't follow Academics is definitely pro-Tory. So any news like this, of course, he's going to repost. So Nicki came in and said, what was the name of that law again? Karma's law, touch not my anointed law. Vengeance is the Lord's law. We give God the glory, and he only just begun. Have a blessed day if you can. LOL, the blogs posting lies. Thank you. More money for me. We're working. Trust. Okay. Couple things. In all fairness, Megan did talk about the fact that her husband is a convicted sex offender, and the law that he broke was Megan's law in her hit song Hiss. So she's going to, we get it. I just don't know if it's worth it. Did that line really, really sting her to the point where, 6-7 months later, you are the best-selling female rapper of all time. I think the closest number 2 to you in terms of net worth is Cardi B, who just hit 100 million. At the end of the day, no matter what, your dude is still a sexual offender. I mean, to me, that shows that line really, really got to you. That's never going to change. I think she tried to get his record expunged. It didn't work. Now, Nicki Minaj, you can't really touch her. Nicki Minaj is always going to be Nicki Minaj. She's going to always be iconic in this space. But I feel like continuing this beef to go back and forth with Megan is just it's ridiculous at this point. She posted the song lyrics. These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan Law. I don't really know what the problem is, but I guarantee y'all don't want me to start. I don't know. She also had some stuff to say about Ms. Carmen says, I wasn't speaking of Corinne's adult relationships. I was speaking of her essay from her mother's boyfriend as a minor and physical abuse from her mother. Yeah, she did run away. Oh, I forgot about the husband too. I forgot all about her brother being a convicted offender as well. Let me show you what she then had to say about Jay-Z. Well, don't make me sign in. I don't remember my Rolling Stone. Okay, here we go. What's crazy now is knowing these people, knowing the man who writes for Complex, knowing the woman who writes for Rolling Stone. That's so like weird to me now. It says Nicki Minaj is making it clear that she is not a fan of Jay-Z. As a super bass rapper continues to make headlines for her social media posts, fans are trying to uncover what led to her public disagreement with the mogul. According to Complex, Minaj's beef with Jay-Z stems from Tidal, a global music streaming service that he co-founded in 2015. At the time of launch, Billboard reported that artist partners such as Minaj were gifted 3% in equity in exchange for creating content and driving value for the subscription service. In 2021, however, Jay-Z sold the majority ownership of Tidal to Jack Dorsey Square Company for $302 million. According to Minaj, she didn't receive a fair amount of the money from the deal. Received a call advising Tidal was sold and they made no money on the deal, so all they could offer me was $1 million. She later alleged that she was scammed and declined the deal. Us Weekly reached out to Jay-Z's rep and Tidal for comment. Let me see. So this is what she had to say. We've calculated about 100 to 200 million so far, she claimed via X. Jay-Z called me to settle this karmic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top 5 though. Now, I don't have any problem with somebody getting their money. However, in this situation, if Tidal, which technically, does anybody know if it's still around? We would need something to show exactly how much Jay-Z actually got, how much your 3% actually amounted to in liquid cash. I just think that she doesn't feel Jay-Z because Jay-Z and Beyonce still back Megan Thee Stallion. But not to be outdone, the Barbs then went after Mama Tina. Shout out to Sean. Where is it? Tina, let me see. Tina posted something about not going crazy. And the Barbs took that as something to do with Nicki Minaj. Let me see. Now, you know it's bad when we're using Bossip. When we're using Bossip, let's get to it, as the source. It says, merciful matriarch Tina Knowles keeps it cute with curated clapback, seemingly subtly suggests Nicki Minaj is losing her mind. So I'm sitting there like, well, damn, did Tina do this? It says, Nicki Minaj has been airing out her beef with Jay-Z, Megan Thee Stallion, and Roc Nation. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get to Mama Tina. Oh, wow. While one of her babies wasn't mentioned directly, Nicki Minaj taking aim at her longtime son-in-law, his company, and pushing claims he has an illegitimate child were enough for her to post a subtle response. The author and fashion designer reposted a video from a Beyonce and Jay-Z fan page, which shows B praising her mother for the strength she's given her throughout the career. The caption, good morning. It feels good to wake up knowing my faves didn't lose their minds. Y'all have a great day. Remember to ignore the ignorance, as Miss Tina Knoll would say. Now, do y'all think that Mama Tina was taking a shot at Nicki, saying her faves didn't lose their minds, and to ignore the ignorance? Was this... was this actually a clapback to Nicki? I had no idea Bossip was still around. That's where it gets messy. Shout out to Sean. These were the comments from the Barbs. Tina, now why would you defend a man that publicly humiliated your daughter, the Beyonce, and cheated on her? Don't claim you're hacked once it's fired back at you. Somebody else said, Nicki doesn't lie. The truth always comes out. Just wait. Tell Jay to stop dodging that paternity test. But you was on mute when Ye spoke on your grandchildren. Tina, you good, boo? Let me see. But ignore Kanye talking about your grandkids is wild. Granny always involving herself in business that got nothing to do with her. Let me see. So Kanye called the twins slow, but Nicki, who never mentioned B, gets a shady post. Nicki ain't lying, and this ain't got nothing to do with her girl Beyonce. She talking about her son-in-law. Big difference. The barbs are really not to be played with. Not Beyonce, come get your mom. The barbs are not to be played with. Let me see. She also posted this. She reposted 50 Cent talking about Jay-Z's long lost son. Now here's the thing. This is not real. It says Jay-Z is trending because the judge has granted Ramir's request to move forward with this case, and the judge has demanded Jay-Z to respond to Ramir's paternity suit by July 18th. This is not true. So Nicki is. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see it. Where is it? Here we go. So Nicki is literally retweeting some stuff that isn't even true. I don't know. I mean, it's entertaining, I guess. I doubt that Jay-Z will ever really technically respond to any of this. It doesn't make sense for him too. He's never going to respond to Ramir. Do I believe Ramir has a claim? Absolutely. But Jay-Z is not going to respond to it for not even a little bit. Let's get into this juror because I have a event to attend tonight. Let's see.
Inner City Press here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today it's Tuesday, July 8th. Now, on the U.S. vs. Sean Diddy Combs, after his 2 convictions with 3 not guilties, today at 2 p.m., there is a hearing on expediting his sentencing. His bail was denied, but the judge seems committed to move his sentencing up from October 3rd. And I'm assuming that Mark Agnifilo and his other lawyers will be asking for time served when the time comes. Now, meanwhile, so we'll be doing that at 2. Instead of it being by phone, which it could have been, since it's virtual for the lawyers, it'll be in the courthouse. But so will we be. There it is right there, the courthouse. But there's been a development. Early in the trial, in the first week, in fact, before the trial's testimony and even opening statements began, during jury selection, we noticed that one of the prospective jurors said he worked at the UN Office of Counterterrorism. And then he was asked, does that mean you work in any way with U.S. law enforcement? And he said, no. Now, I used to cover the United Nations. In fact, I still do. I write scoops daily about it. But I report on it pretty aggressively. Anyway, I know that office, and they do work with U.S. law enforcement. So it just...
Again, why would Mr. Bean sit there and deny it, knowing damn well that at least his job was affiliated in some way with the government? Mr. Bean, the one I told you about, was trying to meet eyes with everybody the entire time. Why would Mr. Bean do this?
Just sort of stuck in my craw that why would this juror be misrepresenting? And on the second day, they asked him more about it because it wasn't credible. He said, no, we work only with Interpol and something about the Dushanbe process. Okay, didn't think more about him because he's just an alternate. And he knew he was an alternate. Only one alternate actually made the transition to being on the jury. That was alternate 1, who took the place of juror number 6, who was ousted for misrepresenting, according to the judge, where he lived and the credibility issues raised thereby. Now, alternate 6 went on CNN right after the verdict. And he said, first he said he inflated his importance by saying, no one told us who were the jurors or who were the alternates. That's totally false. He was there. I was there. Anyone that covered the trial heard them say, you are alternate 6. Fine. Then he said that the videos that no one saw except the jurors and alternates at the time, he said, they were riveting, but also kind of tame. Now, the question was put to him, he said, the prosecution showed videos of Cassie just sitting around. The interviewer then said, you mean the defense? He said, oh, yeah, the defense. So then he went out of his way to mention 350 pages of notes, which, to me, call me a cynic, I believe alternate 6 misrepresented to get on the jury, as we reported at the time. And as soon as it was over, somehow was contacted by or contacted CNN to mention his copious notes, possibly to sell a book. I mean, who am I to say? Who am I to say except to say it's extraordinary to me that this UN. Anyway, we'll have more on this. We've written a story. You can find it. And I think by going on CNN, all bets are out the window. Honestly, it's and the whole secrecy of the trial had a lot of problems. But this is a new low. This is a new low, frankly. Now, what else? Today at 10:30, very soon, we're going to be live tweeting the final pretrial conference in U.S. versus Roman Storm.
Okay, so there was something. It was like Mr. Bean on that, like he lacks self-awareness. But now we're seeing that maybe we were the dummies because we thought that this man who seemingly just came in and smiled at everybody and was trying to make eye contact with us, the press, Diddy, and everybody, I don't know if I should be saying this. I heard whispers that maybe he had autism, and I wouldn't involve myself in those conversations because you can't. I don't want to piss anybody off, but I think it's really ignorant to look at somebody and say they're autistic without actually like knowing anything about the person. Just to say that they have an illness like that, I didn't like it, but I did hear whispers of that in the courtroom. Until this man comes out and says that he is, that he's living with something or, has a disability, I don't rock with that. Maybe it's just me. But there were things that he did that were strange, like trying to meet eye contact with Diddy and all of us. Now he's doing interview after interview. Maybe he was trying to make eye contact with the people in the courtroom that were reporters so that he could contact and reach out to them. And I don't know what he was doing, but the judge did ask that people not run to do interviews. And he was hot. He ran. He contacted himself, I'm pretty sure. What was the point? Let me see. Jolene says, what was the point? What they were trying to allude to is his behavior. And I'm like, you cannot diagnose somebody with autism because you look at them and see something in their demeanor that just, again, I digress. I didn't get into that. I just thought it was stupid. I'm sorry. I just thought it was dumb when people would say it, and so I just didn't involve myself in the conversation. But yeah, he did act like Mr. Bean. I'm not gonna lie about that. So let's go to what was actually. This is what Mr. Bean had to say.
That I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was.
It was ordered. The judge says, "Do not speak with other people." Let me see. Where's the instructions? Here we go. It says, same instructions. Don't speak with each other about the case. Don't speak with anyone else, and don't look up anything about the case. So what he's saying is
that I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was.
So we don't know. There's some issues going on with Mr. Bean. Hanasi says, I believe Diddy is coming home and the perpetrators are running scared. Who's the perpetrators? Thank you for the super chat. Who's the perpetrators? Nahase, let us know. I don't know. I don't know, but there's questions to be asked, and him running to the reporters, and it wasn't just CNN. he's done like smaller interviews. So one day maybe we'll get into the interview. But for now, we're just gonna keep our good eyes on Mr. Bean. I gotta run because, like I said, I don't know that Mr. Bean was still alive. I don't know either. Yeah, like I said, I gotta run because I have this. I don't know what you call it, event, red carpet. I don't know. So see y'all tomorrow. I'm still in New York. So I'm gonna make the most of it. And thanks for being here. Like the video on your way out and definitely subscribe if you are not subscribed.